3-chord songs. I got enough to get by, and we're on to the next.
What was your first 3-chord?
Time of your life.
Dun, dun,
Well,
dun,
it's 4
dun.
chords.
Yeah, it's like what? Like a G back to a C. Throw an A minor in, and then maybe an F.
E minor and D.
Ooh, all right, yeah. It's just your classic progression.
And you know it.
What about you?
I don't play guitar, man. I wish I did.
No. Okay, sorry. Should have phrased this question before I asked it. First favorite song ever
Oh, shit.
that you
What?
can remember, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, man. That's tough. I tell you what, and I don't know if this is kind of lame, but I had every goddamn NSYNC CD back
Yeah, I
in
was
the
going to
day,
say
man.
Backstreet Boys. For
NSYNC
sure.
was, when I was, I would have been like 8, 9 years old, and I was in.
And
I
that was
about
your
it.
shit, dude.
Absolutely.
Dude, I was Backstreet all the way.
Backstreet's back.
So
Me and
probably
Robes were
them.
goofing.
That was when Rolbs first got into boy bands, I think.
Yeah.
And he's still.
Still to this day. He's
yeah.
Maroon 5'd up. Yeah.
Can't do it.
I mean, you guys are going to roast me for this, but mine was Boulevard of Broken Dreams. It's like Green Bay.
It's a jam.
Dude,
right
I
there.
loved Green Day.
It's a
What do you
ballad,
mean?
dude. Brendan used to make fun of me heavy for it.
Not a boy.
That's because I took after my older brother's influence.
There you go.
The only one that I
Pretty sure my
have
first favorite
ever
song was
known.
like something like 94 Hours by As I Lay Dying or Bullet for My Valentine.
There you
Words
are.
to Choke Upon.
94 Hours has the fucking, almost end of that song when it's just rocking that bass drum just
Fire.
so fast, man. That's such a good
Fire,
song.
dude.
From first to last, Emily.
Smiles and her laughter. I should learn that for my girl. Her name's Emily.
Shout
Well,
out.
there's no one in the world like Emily. Shout out Sonny Moore.
And there isn't. Shout out Colby Moore.
Thank you.
Oh,
Glad,
hey, he's
glad
in
to
the
be
house.
here.
Yeah, so Colby's a current car salesman up in Cheyenne. I completely forgot we were doing this. Yeah, been doing
Some car
for
sales.
what, 7
6 and a
years?
half,
6
just
and a half
about.
years?
Yeah, just about 6.5.
And you're at the Toyota dealership. How did that all start? I mean, you did you go to college?
I did, yeah. So I got out of school, out of high school, graduated in 2010, and I went to L Trip for 2 years, just about.
As we do.
Sure. Went there for initially to be a teacher. Wasn't feeling it.
Teacher in what?
Geography, social studies, high school.
You were going to be that cool history teacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the lanyard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lanyard
Yeah, with the
Oh,
lanyard.
yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
Then I really wanted to get into journalism, sports broadcasting, big time, because it's just always been a passion. Just, sports, and love to chat, and
Of course.
it's it's fun to talk about things you're interested in. So, that's the pretty hard industry to get into.
Yeah.
You got to know
Yeah.
people. So that obviously didn't work out there. So I left school, not sure what to do. I've always been a pretty good salesman, a good people person, good communicator.
Mhm.
So I went to get into real estate and found out that, I took the class and stuff, and it's pretty expensive for a, 19, 20-year-old. You just got to, pay for your own advertising and stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Especially in a market like that.
it's
already
flooded.
kind of-
It's there's a lot of agents in Cheyenne.
Yeah.
So after I got done there, I was deciding what I wanted to do, and thought about car sales. That's always crossed my mind. I had a buddy when I was going to school that worked at Terrell Doyle in Cheyenne, and he enjoyed it. So it's always kind of been in the back of my mind. And I had a buddy, Christian, that worked at Spradley Barr, and he was told me to get a job. I asked if there was any sales openings. They didn't have any at the time, so he said, "Come be a service advisor. You're selling, but you're selling in service instead of
Right.
on the lot." So I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a shot."
It sounds great, right?
Absolutely. Oh,
You're
absolutely.
selling in service.
Yeah, so I get there at the Hyundai store, so across the street from the Ford store, if you're familiar, and did that for 2 months, and it was awful. And
Awful why?
just you're dealing with customers that one of your techs might have messed something up, and you got to get the brunt force. You got to
You got to wear that.
yeah, it's tough. There's days going home and you're like, this is just, I don't know, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So funny story. So when I was going to college, I worked at Sports Authority. in Cheyenne. And, I was selling, shoes, everything, whatever, just sporting goods. And as I was a service advisor at Hyundai, the sales manager at Hyundai, a guy by the name of Travis Brown, he, when I worked at Sports Authority, I remember him coming in and me trying to sell him equipment, a bunch of equipment. I spent like half a day with him just trying to sell him, Bowflex dumbbells and all kinds of stuff. And he recognized me. He remembered me. And so he told me, he said, "Why don't you give sales a shot?" So that's what I wanted to do. And so I didn't even have to interview. I was able to just jump right into sales from knowing him from working at Sports Authority. So kind of funny, but started there at the Hyundai store, was there for a few months, just learning, and there's a lot to it. And
definitely
then transferred over to the Toyota store and basically been there ever since. And it's the best, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of come into play that you don't think about, I guess, from the outsider's perspective. Just trying to kind of get the ball rolling and understand what you're trying to accomplish. Do you remember any like growing pains and stuff when you first started out that were just kind of, my brain thought that things were one way, and then I got in here and learned, and things are completely different? Yeah,
I mean, there's so much, behind the scenes in the car industry. Like I remember one time when I first started, I remember, talking about, everybody when they start in the car business, they buy a car. That's just what you do.
Well, yeah.
So I remember, getting there and talking about buying a car and saying, "Oh, I'm going to go, working there. I'm going to go talk to my bank." And they're like, "What the hell? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, I can probably get a better rate at my bank." Like every customer thinks. That's every customer says. And I was, days in the business, and I learned that real quick that that's not the case. And so there's just a lot of stuff that people don't know. That just one small example, just for me anyway, when I first started. So.
Yeah, when I first started, I had never even purchased a car, so I had no idea what the process that went into it was. And so I don't know, it was within the first week I was working there. I'm just sitting there at my desk, and it's right at the front door. And some people walk in the door, and I had, I guess, gotten used to people walking in and going straight to either Mario or one of the other salespeople. Sure. Had never, I guess that would have been what you would consider a fresh lot up. And they just stop right in front of my desk and look at me. And I'm on my phone, and I look back down at my phone, look up. I'm like, "Oh, shit, they're looking at me." I was like, "Can I help you guys?" Stand up, and I'm panicking. And they're like, "Yeah, we want to look at this expedition outside." And so I was like, "Oh, boy, here we go.
Here we go. I don't know
Trial
a damn
by
thing.
fire.
Yeah,
don't know anything about
Yep.
it." It ended up being like a leftover 2018. And we had it discounted a bunch, and I mean, it was pretty straightforward. They liked the price. So my sales manager hands me this sheet with buyer's orders on it.
Oh, yeah.
The buyer's guide. And, my dad likes to do things by hand. So he's like, "Yeah, just fill this out." And I'm like, "Okay." What do I do? But yeah, after that first initial trial, I feel like you take each different, up or lead opportunity, customer opportunity, and you just build on experience, really, because you can teach someone how to sell a car on paper maybe, but it's really about actually, getting your feet wet right when you first get into the business. And then,
doubt.
Yeah, I just remember I was very, very nervous about having to have those interactions with people and negotiate really and discuss, you're trying to sell, as Blaine says, trying to sell someone on something that's, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000.
Second biggest purchase they'll ever make in their life.
It's a lot of money being thrown around. And I was definitely super nervous at first, but you just get the hang of it. And stayed here for 8 months doing that. And then I went out to North Carolina and sold cars out there. And I honestly kind of was feeling some of those same vibes I felt my first few days there, as far as just feeling like a newborn baby.
Did you sell those people?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
I sold that car. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. Blaine, do you remember the first car you ever sold?
Oh, yeah. It was yesterday.
So
it was my very first day on the job. And at the time, the sales manager there is no longer there, so I could care less how he feels. But anyways, I spent the vast majority of a day with some people who, looking back, I didn't have any any reason to be spending a whole day with these people, but I did. Showed them everything I wanted to look at because I didn't know any better. I mean, my first day in the business started with okay, go sell a car.
Yeah,
that was it.
me too.
There's no information. There's no login.
Yep.
Just go sell a car.
Yep.
So I get these people and I'm showing them everything, just not letting them go, basically. Stumbling my way through whatever, open it, answer any questions I think I know the answer to.
Yep.
Until eventually my sales manager gets involved. And he's supposed to be helping me. That's his job, as well as helping the customer. So I bring him inside and get a credit application from him that was just like brain surgery at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and so we get all the way through the process. We submit them, turn down because they're marginal credit and what have you, until we finally get them approved on just a subcompact Elantra hatchback at the time, less than $20,000, but a brand new car. We get them approved and everything. I still know those people to this day, turns out. But what I didn't know in the meantime was that my sales manager was also a salesperson on the floor.
Of course he was.
So he was selling cars for numbers and commission, but also my sales manager. So I found out that my entire first month, although I sold 7 cars, I got paid for 3.5 because every time I got help from my manager,
He took
I
half.
split the deal. So thanks, shout out in the car business. That's not how that's supposed to go.
We know where he's at.
Yeah, and he is still selling cars in this business, so watch out. But that was just crazy for, at the time I was 20, had no clue what I was doing. I just thought that's the way it was supposed to go.
Yep.
Next month he was fired. The new guy came and he was just astonished as to that was happening for the last, month or whatever. So that's my first deal in the business.
Yeah, mine was a brand new Elantra, 2015. Yeah, I remember as a brown in color. I know the customer's name still. Just wild. I remember I was putting stickers for Steve Secrets, the used car manager, on a used truck to go for the lot. She pulled right on up, and it was my 3rd day. And yeah, still remember. It's crazy. That first one, you always remember it.
Oh yeah, because it's always something weird.
No better feeling in the world.
No.
It was a good feeling I got the other day. Sold my first car to a repeat customer.
It's the best.
First repeat. Yeah. The best, dude.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. Man, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Sure is.
man, I feel for those dudes that have been in the business or I don't feel for them, but I like get to feel what they feel like because they sit around all day and people come to them
Right.
and they trust them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what I noticed from this guy out in North Carolina that would do 20 a month, been selling cars in Winston-Salem since like 1976 or something
Wow.
like that. So this dude just sat there and people would come in and he would fucking bury them, dude.
Oh,
and they'd
bet.
leave. They'd give him a hug on the way out the door and just smiling from ear to ear. And somehow this guy had it worked out that we all made 20% commission off the front end gross.
Mhm.
This dude was making 30% commission off the front end gross
Nice.
and selling, cars at
Just
6-7K
Bending
gross.
people over.
Bending them over and they're coming back to him.
Just happy as
Happy
can
to be
be.
here.
Happy. Yeah,
Just the best experience I've ever had.
exactly.
I love it.
And he's always saying, I don't sell cars, I sell happiness.
There you go.
Shut the hell
That's
up.
how you know you're an
I
old car
love
dog,
it.
dude.
I love it.
It's such an interesting business, though. And you see a lot of people, man. Like,
There's nothing like it.
yeah,
There's nothing like it, man.
you hear so many stories. Most people are completely full of shit.
It's just in all the years I've been there, man, when you're down, I've never been more stressed in my life.
Oh yeah.
And when you're up, you've never been happier in your life.
Yeah.
It's so just unstable.
It's volatile.
It
dude.
is, but it's addicting.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
God, there's nothing worse than being 10, 15 days into the month not having a unit out. You're
You
just
got Indeed pulled up on your phone.
yeah.
I can't sell a damn car, save
Oh,
my
man.
life, folks.
Couldn't give it
You're
away.
in no danger of buying a car from me today. Just
Yep.
what do you want to look at?
Yeah, I
that's a good.
you saying
that's
that
a good
I
icebreaker.
look back and I remember one month specifically. I don't know how to forego the prelude to it without you just telling the whole story, but you're having a horrific month at the time, and you had a deposit on a vehicle from some people. They left, and they ended up never coming back, both metaphorically speaking and really speaking. So I don't know if you want to tell that at all. You remember when that was?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was probably 2016, probably.
Set the tone.
Yeah, older lady. She,
How was your month going at the time?
oh, it was not, yeah, it wasn't good. It was one of those months where, I mean, you had 2, 3 out on the 20th, and you're just hoping to get to 7.
Mm-hmm.
But this lady comes in, super nice, got along, got my hopes up, and it was on a Toyota Corolla. Got a deposit, and her son was with her, and I remember they had somewhere to be over the. It was like the end of the week. They had somewhere to be over the weekend, and they were going to come back next week and buy it. But like I said, I got a deposit, so it was done. When you want to come back, and she passed away over the weekend. Wow. Never happened since. Never. Yeah, passed away after getting the deposit. If that doesn't just chap your ass,
oh man,
I don't know
That's
what
how
will.
bad a month can go.
Right.
There.
It's when you're bad, like you just, just doesn't stop.
Compound effect. Man.
Oh man,
That's crazy.
it was nuts.
So probably what everyone else is thinking. Did you guys give the deposit back to her
yeah.
estate?
Yes.
Are you even obligated to at that point?
I feel like that's just the right thing to do.
Sure.
I'm sure we did. I don't remember, honestly. I'm sure we did. I don't see why we wouldn't. Not sorry. That's ours. Not non-refundable. No, yeah, I'm sure we did. But yeah, that was
There's something
that was
to be
tough.
said about some terrible months.
Yeah.
Man, you really find out who you are
Dude,
and what you're made of.
Oh man.
My last, so I sold a car March 1st. All the COVID shit happened a week later. People start coming down with cases, and we're kind of just playing everything by ear. By, I don't know, March 15th, whole city shut down, basically. Stay-at-home orders. Shelter in place. Obviously, we're deemed an essential business.
You were still in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm
Someone's got some
in
lobbyist money
Winston-Salem. Oh,
going
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. Because, it was the service department.
Mm.
Sales was allowed to remain open, but under, like, the stipulation that you weren't allowed to, like, advertise that you were open or something like that.
Right.
Because obviously they're not trying to have people, like, out and about coming car shopping, which would have
Shaking hands
technically been illegal. Yeah. So I sell that car March 1st. I went a whole entire 45 days before I sold another car.
Whoa.
45 days.
Holy
And
crap.
I was saved because the pay plan switched from, like, as is, your commission is what you bring home,
Sure.
to an average of your last 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had guaranteed income, though it wasn't great. But it wasn't that I wasn't motivated to sell. It was just a ghost town every day, man.
Right.
See, that's what's crazy is all that stuff happened in March here, in Cheyenne as well. And we stayed busy. Like
Yeah,
I sold 13 cars in March.
Mhm.
And then April is when we never closed because, I mean, never got that bad here. But
Right.
we went to a skeleton
The
crew
owner
to where
would
like
never.
it was, we worked like every third day. So we had
Wow.
work 2 days off, work 2 days off.
Okay.
It was great. I
Mhm.
mean, I appreciated it. I'll never have that schedule ever again.
Yeah, you guys
The
are
chances.
back to normal.
May 1st, we went back to normal.
Cool.
But we honestly still stayed pretty busy in
Yeah.
April. We sold, it's funny. So Holiday Motors next door,
Mhm.
they didn't shorten hours. We shortened hours like 9 to 5 instead of 8:30 to 7 like we
Mhm.
would be doing. They didn't change hours or do anything as far as the amount of people there. And we did. And they only, as a whole dealership, as a whole campus, they only ended up selling like 15 more cars than we did all month.
Damn.
And
Damn.
I mean, it was crazy.
Too bad the owners in the car business can't take a look at that and say, hey, maybe we don't need 20 people working 11-hour days. So
Mhm.
remember when you go to buy your car that your salesman is working an 11-hour day most likely and 5.5 times a week. And that is if he has nothing going on his day off.
Mhm.
So could you bear with us?
There was like somebody at the Subaru store, somebody that worked there, their roommate got COVID, and they didn't even shut the store down. Like they sent
Shots fired.
they sent the whole sales staff home, but stayed open.
Shots fired.
Yikes.
That blew my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because then I'm talking to my brother, I'm talking to my mom and my dad, who at our store here in town, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just as busy as we've ever been for March."
Yeah.
I mean, March isn't like a great month for selling
It's
cars.
that good transition though.
Right. It's like one of those months that you expect to be average.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're pushing to hit our exact marks." And here in our back in North Carolina, Ford, you know how they send you your objective for the month?
Right.
We're I think they set our goal for 10 new units between 3 stores.
10
new units.
Whoa.
And we're talking about a store that probably with all 3 stores combined, because the one I worked at was like a satellite store across town, because it's a pretty big city, about 250,000 people.
Yeah.
So between those stores, we were expected to sell 200 cars a month.
Yeah, sure.
So for Ford to hit us with, we expect you guys to do 10.
It's a joke.
That just tells you how March was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was like people, they were laying off hourly workers. We were 2 days on, 2 days off. So kind of like the working every third day.
Mm-hmm.
There's some weeks where you're working 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
Hard to sell a car working 20 hours a week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's so many missed opportunities.
Oh, it was crazy. I got lucky. The last one of the just random days during the week that I worked, I had a hat trick. Just
But that's the life he lives.
Yeah.
That is Colby Moore in the car business.
yeah.
It just makes itself work out in some weird fashion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Always does.
It's yeah, I don't see myself doing anything else ever.
Because
Hell
you've tried mentally you've tried to put yourself maybe in another position, go in a different path, but
Ain't happening.
it's never panned its way out.
No, yeah. It's just I just know eventually. I just tell myself it's going to get better.
Right.
Yeah, I might have a bad month going, this month, but I know it's going to get better. It just will.
Pardon me. It is.
Sick. So yeah, I love it. Love it.
So what I want to give you a chance to shine, especially if you're going to be putting this out there on your social media and stuff too, because you've been in it long enough to where you're retaining a lot of people.
I have a customer coming in next week that's bought like 13 cars from me.
Yeah.
Buying another one.
So what is it that you offer? What do you think it is that makes you a little bit different? What do you think it makes your situation makes it a little bit different? I just want to give you a chance to kind of just run your mouth,
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I just want it to be a good time. Buying a car is not fun. It's not. I mean, maybe for some people it is. I got to go drive this. I want to buy a Mustang. I want to buy a toy. But for most people, it's just your standard transportation that they have to have. And it's no fun looking at a paper and seeing, oh, man, I got a $450 payment. I don't have a car payment right now, but I need this car.
Mm.
You just got to make it as fun as possible. You got to build a relationship and build a friend. And that's what I try to do. I just want to be as personable as possible.
Mhm.
It's and I've luckily had a lot of repeat customers, a lot. So I appreciate it. It's appreciate them coming back, and it makes you want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
As you're doing it longer, you see the return, and you're like, I've just been doing this so long. Why would I stop?
Yeah. It's all about attention to detail and remembering the things they tell you.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes you look worse than when you've already talked to this person before and you can't for the life of you remember their name.
Oh,
and you have to ask. You have to ask.
There's certain tricks that I've learned, because a lot of times, in your head, I just say their name over and over and over when I do a meet and greet. But there's times where, you get right into, fact finding and you don't remember. And you're like, oh man. So what I make sure to do, obviously, I'll get copies of driver's license and I'll make sure to, see it off there.
Yeah,
But
that's
if for
that's
some
a
reason,
smooth trick.
yeah, if for some reason, like, after we get through, I haven't had to say their name because we're doing a test drive and we're going over what they're looking for. Once I get inside, if they're, interested in looking at numbers, things like that, when I'm putting them in the system, hey, spell your name for me. They'll spell it for
It's
me.
John.
Because then I say, oh, there's, I just see so many ways of spelling it. I just make sure to ask.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's people spell their names so crazy nowadays. I just make sure to ask so I don't get it wrong.
That's a great trick,
So
man.
I do that. So yeah, so far it goes pretty smooth,
Yeah.
but
I do want to just tell a quick, brief story here. quick and brief. So during that streak of 45 days where I hadn't sold a car, a guy comes onto the lot and he's looking for, a half-ton pickup, under 100,000 miles. He's looking for 4-wheel drive, crew cab. But here's the kicker. And there's always the kicker. Got to be under 15 grand.
Yeah,
I was like,
sure.
sir, this car doesn't exist.
Yeah. Let me call the used truck factory.
This is a unicorn, and if you find it, I want to buy
Yeah.
it first.
So I go, you're never going to find a truck like that. And he says, oh, yeah, I did. Shows me a truck. First of all, it's 2-wheel drive. It's got 200,000 miles on it. And
Beat
it's
with
like
hail.
an XL. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously I don't have a $15,000 truck. Our cheapest truck on the lot at this point is like a $35,000 GMC type thing. Like we had shit for used cars. And so he's like, oh, very well then. I guess thanks for your time. He gets in his car, leaves. Never got his name, anything like that. And I come inside and my sales manager's like asking me like, how'd it go? Who's that? What's his name?
I don't know.
Did you get his number?
That pit in your stomach you get when they hit you with that question,
Yep.
like, man, I fucked
And
up.
I felt like I had fucked up enough that I completely made up a name,
There you
made up
go.
a phone number, and put him in Ely's, put him in our
There you
CRM.
go.
A
I've done it.
fake person.
I've done it, man.
100%.
I've done it, man. So yeah, I had these
So
kids.
again, in the car business, please understand that if you're blowing off some salesperson and wasting their time, they have to go back inside and create a fake name and number just to not get sent home with you after
Yeah,
that. The
exactly.
manager will say, okay, well, the next time you do that, ask them for a ride home. So please understand that that's happening as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
I had these
exactly.
young airmen, with military base being there, coming in looking for a car. I was young in the game, and we're walking around looking for cheaper used cars, and they oh hey, we're just looking, man, we don't want any help. So that was after I'd walked around the lot with them for a while. My manager knows I'm with them.
Mhm.
I come back, they're not with me.
Yeah.
What happened to those guys? They're young airmen. That's a deal all day long. You couldn't talk them into something. What was their name? What was their phone number? Call them right now. Get them back in here.
Oh.
I had their name. I knew he was from Pennsylvania. I just said, what's the area code to Pennsylvania on my phone on Google?
Oh, no.
I just made up a number, called it. Now they gave me a bad number.
Yep.
Dodged
Yep.
a real bullet.
That's
on that
exactly
one.
what happened. It was a bad. They gave me a bad number.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, this is
Just
terrible.
throwing up, just random, just this area code 372-1557. Just
Yep.
random numbers, and
Just to avoid a conversation, a stern conversation.
Yeah. A
At the very
conversation
least.
you don't ever want to be having,
oh, it's the worst.
What's
let
that?
alone
Someone came into your business and wanted to look at something but didn't want to give you any information in return, and you're not gonna press the envelope. Well,
Right,
go
right.
ahead and take your ass home.
There
with it.
has never been one other time, honestly, that someone has given me a bad number. Honestly, I don't think anyone's ever honestly given me a bad number.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. I couldn't not have that happen to me there for a stretch in North Carolina. I was talking to people that were just off the street, just
Just rode in on a bike.
cruising by. Yeah, sometimes. One of my last customers there walked to the dealership, and this is like the dealership's on a parkway, so it's like a 3-lane parkway, not like an easy place to walk to. And this dude rolls up after he had called, and actually he set an appointment with our BDC people.
Mhm.
Sets the appointment, shows up on time. This dude hoofed it. And he comes in and he's carrying a trash bag.
Oh no,
with shit.
full of cash. Wasn't it?
I don't know
Oh, you
what
don't
it was
know.
full of. We don't know at this time. We don't know. But he's holding it, and he like set it down beside him, starts talking to me, and he's talking like not really giving me a lot of information, just kind of like telling me his name. And he says like, I want to look at cars. And I'm like, okay, came to the right place. And he's like, okay. And I was like, what kind of car are you looking for? He was like, I don't know, maybe an SUV. So, okay, yeah, well, we have some used SUVs over here, some new ones out front. And he's like, okay, let's go look at those ones. And then he picks the bag up, and he's holding this trash bag. And it was pretty dense. It was probably like this. It was tied off, and it's just like a round sack, and he's carrying it. And he wouldn't put it down. Like,
What the?
I opened up an escape for him, a used escape, and he put the took his bag and put it in the passenger seat and then sat in the car. It was so fucking weird.
What? And you never found out what was in this bag?
Never.
Oh, that's
not once. It was just a black trash bag. And so this guy, basically he says, okay, I don't really like this car. I was like, were you planning on financing the vehicle? What's your plan here? And he says, I could pay cash. And I'm like, okay, how much? And he was like, oh, I could probably buy this car right here. And it was a Lexus SUV that had like a sticker on the window of like 37. He said, I'll buy it for 35. And I was like, okay. Do you want to drive it first at least? Like, this isn't the process of selling a car. And we had to like follow their sales process. And you couldn't even get numbers until they drove the car. But anyway,
pretty standard,
so I'm trying to get this guy to drive the car. And he's like, nah, but I'll be back. I'll be back to buy this car.
I'm sure he will.
And then he stood there in the used car parking lot for like 20 minutes waiting for his ride to come pick him up, just holding his trash bag.
Could you tell like if it was like...
It was dense.
So it might have been liquid. What do you think it was, like a liquid?
What?
No, how did it
was
sit down?
It was when he sat down, it was like you filled a bag full of leaves.
Weird.
And then tied it off halfway up. And it was just a lump. And he was just carrying it in his arms. He wasn't like holding it in one hand. He was carrying it like this. Yeah.
Did he ever come back?
Never came back.
Of course not.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I guess what I was getting at is that just the most wild, crazy, like, you don't know what the fuck's going on with these
We've
people.
had homeless people show up, dude, and they're living out of their cars and
showing up for the free coffee, dude. The crackheads in Winston, where the big dealership was located, it was like by a bunch of bus stops and strip clubs and like weird Chinese food restaurants and like chain seafood restaurants and a Bojangles.
Hell yeah.
And
So you had great lunch options.
Right, exactly. Good lunch options on that end of town. But these people, obviously everyone out there called them crackheads. I don't know if they were doing crack or not, but you just know it when you see it.
it's a pretty
Kinda.
loose term in 2020
It really
calling
is.
someone a crackhead.
In the South, it's just what you call homeless people.
It also seems to be more reasonable.
You just say,
when those
yeah, they're
people are being-
crackheads.
Yeah. Around here, you've never seen one,
No.
but refer to everyone as one.
No.
You know.
My eyes were open to the situation big time. I saw this guy at a bus stop that was right next to a stoplight. We're just at a stoplight. I'm riding passenger over to the other dealership, and I just look over to my right, and this guy reaches in the trash can at the bus stop, pulls it out, and it's like a fifth of Evan Williams or some
Nice.
like cheap ass whiskey, and it
Shout out
had
Jordan Corwitz.
it had maybe 2 slugs left in the very bottom of it, and he down
Hell
the
yeah.
hatch.
He was stoked. Fuck yeah, I found this. Kidding me?
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man.
You got a crazy story?
They'll rummage through the cigarette butts and stuff, the
Yeah,
old
dude,
ones,
try
just
to
hoping
find-
they can get this much.
Try to find something with a little length on her.
No, the craziest thing that just comes by me is I've probably, working at that dealership, seen like more people just shit on the floor than I ever thought
Dude, I forgot.
You remember that? So
Shit on the floor.
So there's been a couple people, like there was one guy that came in, I think he was a truck driver. He had parked a semi on the road and he said, bathroom. And
Remind
as
me
he's
about-
running in the Toyota store to the bathroom, just dropping shit on the ground all the way to the bathroom, man. And Brandon, you know Randy, he's the one that like upped the guy. And I was like, all right, dude, you upped it. You got to clean it up.
You gotta
Get the mop, dude. You got to clean it. And he grabbed the mop out and he's just gagging as he's mopping it. And he couldn't do it. He had to give up because he was going to throw up. So I ended up mopping that. But the best one is over at the Ford store. I don't remember what salespeople was with these folks, but they were, and I remember the car. It was a yellow Ford Focus.
That was
an
me.
older one. You were with
That
them.
was me.
All right, then would you like to tell the story?
Nope. Would
Okay.
love for you to.
Okay,
That
so-
was me, dude.
So I can't believe you were with him. That's so awesome.
Yep.
So he's got these old folks. They were in a yellow Ford Focus, an older Ford Focus.
Hatchback. Similar
absolutely.
to Charlie's. A little bit older. Yellow hatchback.
So parked in the front. I don't know. I think they might have been looking at new Ford Focuses with you. And so I don't remember, what happened inside. All I know is they were leaving, and they were parked right next to an open handicap spot
where they should have been parked.
where they should have been parked. And this old lady just fucking drops trow, dude, right next to her car and just squats and just dumps right on the ground. Just took a shit right on the handicap logo. Right there.
Broad daylight. It's
Broad
like 2 in the
daylight.
afternoon.
Every parking spot's taken. Busy Saturday.
Oh my God.
My sales manager was doing a trade appraisal, drives by as she's shitting. And it was the stinkiest damn fart. It was summertime, hot, just baking cookies in the handicap
It was
logo.
too.
Just so stinky.
Did you get their name and number?
I hope you didn't.
Did you get their name and number though?
It was sitting out there. No one wanted to touch it. I don't know what ended up.
No,
people
ran
were
over
driving
it,
through it.
dude. Oh God!
Just this old lady in her 80s, probably just squats down and just shits right next to her car.
Did they hightail it out of there after she did that?
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, we've got running water inside.
Bathroom, right? You can see it.
No problem.
What if that's like her thing? She didn't enjoy her customer service experience, and that's what she does.
Then she's a
if you
fucking
piss her off.
savage.
That was her
Then that's
Yelp.
the baddest bitch on the earth.
That was her Yelp review.
That was a story. That's something I'll never forget in my life.
Yeah, that was me.
I will never forget that. Yep, that was nuts.
How come you never told me this story, dude?
I was gonna tell him initially, remind me to tell that story.
Yeah.
But then that was your crazy story.
That's up there.
Yeah,
like I don't know how
that
it
was
gets
me.
much crazier than that.
I don't. Yeah.
Just right in front of the building. Right in front, just
Yucky, dude.
Paid on commission. Think they bought something?
oh my gosh.
That's
Did the same rule for Randy apply to you? You upped him. You got to clean it.
I left it, dude.
I
People
think it
drove
just
all
affa-
over it.
What happened is like our wash bay guys across the street, we have this big water truck. So if they're like need to power wash vehicles on the lot, they just busted it out and just like hours after, like it had been sitting there just festering. And hours later, they came and just power washed it just into chunks all over the parking lot.
God.
Get out of town.
That was
is
crazy.
so
That's been
disgusting.
probably, that might have been like summer 16 or 17. That's
Yep.
been a minute.
Yep.
But that was, that was so funny.
Oh my.
They insisted
Yeah.
they were gonna buy something.
Came to look at new Focuses. That's where you're wrong.
Wanted to pay cash, had one, drove in on one. That one only had like 60,000 miles, 2002,
Yeah.
2003, old Focus.
Craziest
got
thing
shit
I've
on
ever
that
seen.
day.
Dude, I can't even believe this story.
So, and it's, yeah.
That was me.
Me and Travis were talking about that story like a few weeks ago.
Never forget that.
Yeah.
No.
He drove right by as she's doing it. He drove by, watched her as she's squatting, pooping. Just
So
unbelievable.
She hiked the dress up?
No,
or-
she pulled her pants down and just got down,
Wow.
squatted. Somehow at 80 years old, she had the fucking quad strength to do that.
Not
But
the quad strength to walk to the bathroom.
Get out.
Terrible.
Get
that
out.
is so funny.
That is.
Yeah, it's great.
So speaking of fresh shits, you are a dad now.
I
man.
am. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
Yay!
I appreciate it. I appreciate it,
You
man.
got a loaf in the oven, bud?
Oh, it's
No.
out of the oven and it's being served.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He's,
it is a fresh loaf.
he's a month
Damn,
and a half
dude.
old this week.
How's it been?
It's the best, man. The best. Yeah,
Everything you
he's-
thought
How
it
did I
would be.
miss that?
everything and more. He's so fun. It's just going to give him better because he's going to get more social and he's going to be able to interact. But yeah, he's great.
Awesome.
It's a feeling that you don't know what it feels like until it happens.
Sure.
It's awesome.
So you when was the birth date?
April 7th.
April 7th. So yeah, closer to 2 months than to one. You've had him home for a little bit. What's happened so far that kind of took you by surprise? Some of that new dad
man,
stuff.
We've been lucky. You hear horror stories about just newborns. You're not going to get any sleep or anything. I don't think there's been one night I've gotten less than 6-7 hours of sleep.
What about her?
Same.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The baby sleeps.
He sleeps.
Yeah, my older
He's
bro-
already almost sleeping through the night.
My older brother had a kid, and they said the same thing. He's been sleeping through the night.
He's he'll whine when he's hungry and stuff like that, but he's not just just losing his mind, crying. It's awesome. He's been great.
When's he start giving feedback? Like when's he? I guess I just don't know the timeline on babies. What they start
Like as far as
when they start talking, when they start walking,
a walk and talking is probably going to be more like your, maybe closer to a year.
closer to a year.
Yeah. He'll make his noises and stuff now, and So we should be hopefully sitting up is normal at about, 4-ish months, 4 to 5 months. He's
A little top heavy.
oh yeah, that head is too much for that neck at the moment. He's soon, they say in between like 2 to 4 months, you'll start seeing smiling, and he smiles now, but they say that's just because he's just gassy.
Eye color?
So funny. We don't know yet. Some days it's blue, some days it's brown.
When is that supposed to shake itself out?
It's the next few months should. Yeah, so we're not sure
Interesting.
yet. He came out with some reddish hair, and yeah, I know
guess
because
you got that red in your beard,
Michaela's
too,
pretty
though.
dark. Her hair is dark, but he like lost all of his hair already. So we'll see when it starts growing back what colors it's going to be. But
Wow, that happens too.
yeah, I didn't know. I was like, the hell, he's losing all
They
his
just
hair. So
lose their hair.
He lost the top part, so he was just Dr. filling it just for like a
Oh, that's
couple
funny.
weeks, man.
That's
Hilarious. But he lost it all. All that's left is just this little patch right back here.
Wow.
But yeah, I didn't know. I looked it up and I was like, oh, but I guess it's super normal. Some babies do it like later than the
Wow.
summer earlier. So, but yeah, man, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
There you have it.
Yeah, I was waiting for an alley-oop coming.
Yeah, my brother had a baby girl recently, and I was so surprised when I held her how small they are.
Oh yeah.
Like the head is so tiny.
So he was, and it was funny because when we were like doing ultrasounds and stuff, as we were progressing when she was pregnant, I remember the 20-week ultrasound. He was like in the 90th percentile in size. So we thought,
Meaning?
like, man, this like out of 100 babies, there's only 10 that are bigger than him. So big,
Attaboy, dude.
so big.
Smokes.
Good
Yeah,
work, dude.
so we were like, man, this kid's gonna be huge. So, and then the 28-week, we had another ultrasound because they needed to see another part of him, and 76 percentile, which is still big. I mean, he's still, 3/4 bigger than,
Everyone
else. So we were thinking, measuring up, he was going to be, maybe 8 pounds, maybe a little bit bigger. 6 pounds, 12 ounces,
Wow.
below average. He was small.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We were so surprised because Michaela was like, she was over 8 pounds. I was almost 8 pounds, and he was high 6s. So we were super surprised by that.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't remember my stats.
I assume I was one of the biggest.
I don't know, man.
I bet Petey was little, just a
You were
little guy.
kind of a little guy till you grew.
Sure.
That's what they all say.
Sure.
I guess that's
I was definitely taller than Blaine, I think, through freshman year of high school or eighth grade.
Yeah. Sophomore year is when I went from about 5'10", 5'11" to about 6'4",
How tall are you?
How about that?
6'7", man.
My son's tall.
Are you 6'7"?
Bet.
I feel like
You
he
didn't
gets an
drink
inch
that?
higher every time I talk to you.
Well,
Right.
You know he does.
I mean, that one.
Oh, go for it.
No, I legitimately am closer to 6'7" than I am 6'6" now. I was about the halfway mark, but I think I'm a little
Sure.
closer to 6'7" now.
Sure.
Why aren't you fucking playing tight end in the NFL?
Commitment issues. Discipline.
Sure.
Runs a 40 in 8.7 seconds.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
You
Yeah,
could hone
slowest
that
kid
down.
you ever met.
Dude, you just need to do some hamstring curls. Wouldn't dream of lifting a weight.
No, still won't. So yeah, dude, this little kid. I mean, it's gonna change so much. You guys planning on getting out of the trailer hood, or
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we want to buy a house. We plan on buying a house this fall.
really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got any neighborhoods in mind? You've already been
Oh,
looking?
just my parents and stuff are all on the northern side of Cheyenne, so it'll be that side. Because I went to Central, which is
Oh.
northern side, so that's where we'll go.
Where the white privilege
Well.
resides. Good for you. So, has it
Wyoming.
impacted your sales at all? Have you seen yourself kind of hustling more?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I've had, I'm on pace right now to have my biggest year by far, and it's not even close.
Crazy how that works. That
Yeah.
seems to be a consistency through just about everybody.
It's weird. Yeah, I'm like already at this same point. Last year and just previous years, because I've been pretty standard. Like hasn't been a whole bunch of change. I'm already like 21 cars ahead of where I was last year
Wow.
through 4 months, 4 and 5 months.
Wow.
So it's big time.
Interesting.
You don't. I don't know if during the day you notice, but you notice, at the end of the month with how many cars you got out. So
Mhm.
I mean, something's different, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you come to work saying, all right.
Would you
You know,
say it's
it's-
like a switch that flips, or is it even less noticeable than that? Just kind of
less noticeable than that, honestly. I don't know. It just seems like when it comes to the close, when you're getting down to like the nitty gritty, it just seems like I'm trying, just trying harder, just not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Just
asking for
buy
their
the damn
business.
car.
Yeah. Ask for their business.
You're not here to buy a loaf of bread.
Have
You
you
came
used
here
it
to
to
look
your
at-
advantage?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Your pictures on the desk and
yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's like I said, it's not a switch, not necessarily anyway, but I know I'm doing a lot of things, just trying harder. I think.
Yeah.
Not like I didn't try
There
in
you
the
go,
first
man.
place, but it's just little things that you can
Yeah.
improve on
Mhm.
that I think I'm doing. That's definitely
Just,
helping. That's paying dividends.
it could never be enough, man. You can never critique your style,
Right.
and just keep learning, man. If you don't keep learning,
You're dead.
you're dead
Dead to rights in the business.
in that business, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah, if you're not learning something, you learn something every day, just about.
Yeah.
Just something.
So
Well-
would you get back into it?
Yeah, under the right circumstances. Someone,
PD Slings and Whips, solid.
Yeah.
someone offered me a job I didn't deserve. I'd be in it. For sure. I don't know that I'd ever go back to being a salesperson again, but yeah, if someone offered me something I had no business doing, sure.
What was it about sales that kind of like soured you on it?
It's just more so that it's running the same race. And in my specific instance, it's running the same race at multiple different places, proving the same thing. And so really I just felt like at a certain point I'm capable of more. My talent is capable of more. I just need to find someone to take a shot. And a couple people tried and didn't shoot their shot all the way through. And it just didn't work out. So I just don't I don't see myself going back to the everyday grind and starting over and doing that whole thing, because where you're at now is where I would be if I
Yeah,
would
'cause
have
you
never left.
Because
and
you
never-
started was it about 2 years after? You'd have been in the game like right over about 4 years.
closer to 5.
Closer,
yeah.
yeah.
And so, I just knocked these completely off my head. So yeah, it's more so just the starting over aspect is damn near impossible, and I've done it plenty of times.
Sucks, man. Sucks going from having a customer base to, I mean, you switched towns, obviously.
Multiple times.
That shit is tough, man.
Very
Well,
tough.
there's
And
no
I've been
doubt
successful everywhere I've been.
there's no doubt that one of the main keys to the business of being successful is staying where you're at, staying put.
Yep.
It's just you'll be more successful.
I had a good deal going at the base there in Cheyenne, where a guy would send me brand new airmen.
Oh man, yeah, you were getting fed.
Send me brand new airmen that just out on their own, 18 years old, need a car. They live across the country from home and they need to buy a car. And I had, 3-4 of them coming in a month for
Yeah.
years.
Where'd he move to?
He's in Georgia.
Georgia,
Shout out
huh?
Kenny Volkert.
Yeah.
Kenny Volkert, great guy. What happened with him originally is we had a car posted online, a 2015 Mazda CX-9 for sale. He came in and wanted to drive it and everything. And turns out the price tag we had in the car was for about $3,000 or $4,000 more than what was advertised online.
Mm.
So we run this race, and finally he brings it up when we're negotiating, like, hey, here's your car online for $19,900, and your hang tag says $24,900, $23,900, whatever it is. This is bullshit. Are you going to make this right? And we sold it for the online price
Sure.
and took it in the hind quarters, sold it for $19,900, and that guy sent me every bit of 50 referrals.
Oh yeah, you made
50 people
that
probably.
dude made you a lot of money.
But it just goes to show you the way of doing business is to treat people the right way,
Yeah.
that deserve to be treated the right way. And it'll get you pretty damn far in the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, would I ever go back? I would, but under some different circumstances. Not that I necessarily deserve by any means.
I think if you had the opportunity to go back to sales.
I don't think I would.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like.
Listen, do you know how many times
but
I've
you
ran
know,
this race?
I get it. I get that. But you know that if you were in a certain situation and that got offered to you, you know you could go anywhere and make money right now as a salesperson. You know you could.
Yeah.
So you know if that opportunity came at a certain time, you would take it. You have to.
I can go there right now. I mean, I can go sell cars right now, today. I've turned down those jobs.
It's his ex that he's broken up about, so they're taking a breather.
You think?
I don't know. I'm just being funny.
No, I got offered an internet job at Cowboy Dodge, like within the last couple weeks. The same one that I got offered when I came back to Spradley here as of
Then why did you take it?
I just don't want to do it. Just don't want to do it.
What would be the only way you'd come back to the car business?
In a manager position?
Well,
I said multiple times I don't deserve it. I never said I deserved it. I'm just saying that I have the ability to do it and I want to do it and I have the drive to do it.
Okay.
It's a matter of someone taking a shot.
Right.
And that's the only way. Otherwise I'll find a new lane.
Yeah, but it's hard to establish yourself to be qualified for that because obviously someone's got to find out about you.
Sure.
Offer you the position. How does that happen if you're not around the business?
Well, that's the thing is I put myself in those positions. There were several times where I was in a position to have those jobs, and I felt that I held up a reasonable end of my deal, and it never really worked out, and so I'm kind of done chasing that. I mean, I know it sounds a little crazy, but the people in this profession aren't exactly the most reliable.
Sure,
and
I'm sure you've learned along the way.
Oh yeah.
You could use those recent failures to your advantage. Sure. Come at it from a little bit different of an approach.
Yeah, and so my approach now is just the fact that that's not going to be my career.
All right.
That's why
I respect it, man.
That's why I chose to go the route I'm going.
Absolutely.
And we're making a less than successful podcast. You know,
trying.
But yeah, it'll teach you a lot. It makes a man out of you quick. Taught me a hell of a lot about myself, hell of a lot about other people.
Oh man.
And how it's okay to lie. But from a consumer perspective, not from a salesman, but how it's okay for people to come in and deliberately lie to your face.
Yeah.
Knowing damn well right that it's me and you, the consumer, versus the manager. Really, I'm on your side for the most part. My job is to sell the manager on the price that you're willing to buy it on, and then we'll do this whole race. So they think that it's the manager and me behind closed doors against them,
right.
And really it's me and the customer versus the manager.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's a pretty interesting business in the fact that your customer can come in and tell you whatever they want, spend however much time they want, and regardless, it's all going to end with, did you get their name and number? And when are they coming back? Or are they buying today? That's it. That's all they care about. So, yeah, it'll teach you a lot.
The plight of the car salesman. It's underrated, and it is kind of shitty at times.
I love it.
It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
The best.
I love it.
It's not a bad way to spend a day. That's for damn sure.
Heard that.
You're right. You're right about that. Do you think it's kind of a boys' club? If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
We've worked with some strong women salespeople, though.
Yeah, we have.
Very strong.
We have, absolutely.
You gotta be to survive in that kind of a boys' culture. It's almost like sometimes like the sales meetings it feels more like a locker room type situation where fucking everyone's just bullshitting, but it's just a bunch of dudes around, and then like the manager walks in and it's like the coach walks in and everyone just starts paying attention, and then he gets done talking, meeting's over, and then everyone
raw.
Yeah, right back on their bullshit. Just of nonsense. Like, it's just guys who hang around each other all the time, so obviously you become friends with some people, and then there's other people you don't like, but you still have to be around them all the time. And it just becomes kind of like this weird dynamic of just random individuals that you're forced to be around.
Yeah. Who are all very interesting characters on their own.
Right.
Because you only get to the business one way. That's being a pretty interesting character.
The
Nobody just accidentally
the
falls
different
into it.
just array of people that I've worked with in the 6 years, it's crazy. Just every walk of life.
Yeah.
I've worked with. It's crazy. I don't know how just the car business attracts some people, you know, and most of the time they're not any good. I mean, the turnover rate is just nuts.
Right.
It's nuts because people just, you know, the dealership will put an ad in the paper and say, hey, you want to make 50 grand? Come on in.
Mm-hmm.
And you get these people that just come on in and
Right.
they get hired because they might have a good interview and then they don't know their foot from their ass.
Yeah. This one guy. Oh, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
I was just gonna finish by saying they come in and realize that, man, I ain't gonna make any money.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're gone.
This guy, he came in like he was hired 2 months after I was hired in North Carolina. This dude lived like in Virginia, super close to the border, and he was like a repairman for hospital equipment, like X-ray machines and MRI machines. But he just had to travel a lot, and he thought that he was traveling too much, so he was just going to go sell cars. And he didn't sell any cars except for vehicles that he bought. He bought 2 vehicles, didn't sell any cars. Quit after 2 months, and he was just delusional, man. Like, and this guy was, I don't know, 50-something, had a wife, 2 kids that were like high school age, and he legitimately thought he could make more money in selling cars, and he wouldn't have to like travel as much. It was insane.
It's not for everybody.
No, it's not for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude.
It's for a very select few.
You just don't know what you're getting into, I think, because you don't know what it is until you've done it.
Yeah.
Some people can hang, and some people got to get out.
Live for customer service.
It's hard. It's hard. It's, you know,
Very hard.
it's I mean, it's not just hard just to, you know, get out and be persuasive and sell a vehicle, because that is hard. I mean, it can be hard with, you know, with the customers that you're having, but it's hard just being able to control the mind games of car sales.
Mm-hmm.
That's harder almost.
Yeah.
The stress it causes, the doubt that it causes.
Yeah, you could
That's
very
hard.
well work for 11 hours a day, 5.5 days a week for 2 weeks and make $0.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Make $0.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow you need to go back out there to the next person and run that race as if they're going to buy a car today.
Yep.
With no
Mhm.
issue.
Yeah,
Hard
it's
to do.
Got to be consistent. That's tough. Consistency is tough.
yeah.
Consistency and approach to individual customers. I mean, if you're having a bad day, having a bad morning, and you kind of sit around all morning, and then you catch someone early afternoon, and you're not like prepared for that. At the time, you don't realize, oh, this person wasn't serious, but maybe you weren't serious and you didn't take them serious enough.
Correct.
And they were like, all right, I don't really want to work with this guy, but I'm nice enough to like let him down easy
Just pre-qualifying
and just leave. Yeah.
Love to do that.
judging somebody before they even talk to him.
hmm
For all you know, that dude with the trash bag could have paid
Right.
cash for that car. Obviously, he didn't. And
Maybe he's come back since then. That was one of the last
Right.
days I worked there.
yeah, I mean, it's just, you never know.
hmm
You never know.
You don't. Man, you don't.
But it's so hard to treat everybody the same, and it's awful to
Because you've
say.
had your heart broken so many times.
Right.
Because
It's-
you've put so much investment into some of these people that lie to you like it's nothing and tell you this big elaborate story.
The stories, man. You just
crazy.
literally, all you become is a listener to people telling you some story that could be true, could not be true.
Yep.
But you got to sit here and with a fucking half-hearted smile on your face and just listen to this. Like, I find myself all the time, like, struggling to listen to their fucking stories. Once they start going off on that, I'm just listening for, like, information that's going to help me sell them a car, not fucking the circumstances that led them here.
right.
I don't know. My patience is very thin with that after being in a random ass city, not having any connection to anything,
Definitely.
just talking to strangers.
Yeah.
Is wild.
Well, fellas,
That's car sales 101.
Love it.
and it is. I assume we're pretty good distance into this thing.
Yeah, and I think I have been talking too much, so
It's all right, man.
we better.
That's what it's all for. Anything else you want to add, talk about?
No,
I'd love to get into some football with you, but fuck.
Can we
Might have
get
to
your
be another
Instagram
time.
handles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, we want to plug you up in case any of these people want to buy a car from you, man.
absolutely. At Colby's Got More, ColbySgotMoore.
Perfect.
Yeah, anybody listening here in Cheyenne, Wheatland, Laramie area, Spradley Barr Toyota. Again, my name's Colby, and it's come see me, please. New, used, whatever. I mean, I'm happy to help, and you won't regret doing business with me. I promise you that.
That's the
Hell yeah.
father of Cooper's Got More for you, and he would love to help you buy your next vehicle.